Good evening and welcome to another episode of Sip and Chat with me, your host, Ms. Fanta Ceesay. It gives me great joy and pleasure to introduce the next guest for this episode. If you've been following the show, you know that I'm very passionate about mental health and I'd like to think myself as a mental health advocate. And to have this young lady here today to talk about the entire show basically would be about that. It'd be about taking care of yourself, mental health, and what she does and her organization and what they represent. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's do the imaginary clapping for the one and only Gaye.
Thank you so much for having me, Fanta.
Welcome to Sip.
I'm absolutely honored. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just tell the people, who's Gaye?
So my full name is Ajifatu Gaye.
Okay.
Most people call me Gaye. I'm 100% Gambian, born and raised. I went to Marina International School, after which I moved to America. I went to college in Virginia.
Okay.
So my educational background, I have a bachelor's degree in international economics and business.
Okay.
And then I did my master's in the UK in development administration and planning. So I'm saying this just so you know I don't have an educational background in regards to mental health.
Right
yes,
now. Okay.
But it's just passion that led me into that field.
Okay. Nice. So, why? Because first of all, tell us, what is Forward4you?
Okay, so Forward4you is a charitable organization here in the Gambia. I started it when I was 20 years old. So like I said, when I went to college, I went to an all-women's college.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so it was
interesting.
Yes, it was it was a very empowering experience. I remember when I told people I'm going to an all-women's college, like what kind of experience is that going to be? But for me, it pushed us into a field of leadership and just mentally prepared us to make a mark in the world type of thing.
Okay.
So I'm very grateful that I had that experience.
Okay.
So Forward4you actually started where I became the president of our African Students Collective.
Okay.
So where I went to school was a very remote area, and it was a very minority black student thing. So we all kind of So we all kind of stuck together. So when I became the president of ASK, I decided that I wanted to do something to give back, and of course the first thing that came to my mind was education, and for the Gambia. So Forward4you actually started with giving scholarships to young Gambian girls while I was over there. Okay. So what we would do is, at that time we had t-shirts with this logo on it, and we would sell those t-shirts and the funds would then come to Gambia and it would be in the form of scholarships, right? Nice. So in 2016 I graduated and decided that I wanted to move back to Gambia, and one of my goals was to expand the organization. So at that point in time, I'm going to tell you how the name Forward4you came about. Yes, it was in 2016, if you remember, there was a time where a lot of Gambians were taking the back way. Yes. And so I was sitting there saying, what could be the opposite of back way? So me and my mother and my sister were like, okay, let's think of something. We're like, okay, the word forward is the opposite of back, right? Yes. So we'll do Forward4you to individualize it, to make the person feel important and like they belong. Yes. So that's how Forward4you came about. Nice. Yes. So over the years, we began to expand. So we focus on education, mental health, and community development in general. Okay. So for today's episode, I'm going to focus solely on the mental health aspect of what we do. Would you like me to delve into that? Yes, for sure. I didn't know that it was community and education as well. Yeah. I didn't know that. Yes. What I understood was it was mostly for mental health. But I would still like to touch on every other thing, like education and that. I just want to know, as the organization as it is, what they really do. But obviously, main focus would be on mental health. Yes. You know, I would also like to get to know you. Yes. You know, for sure. I look forward to that, because a lot of people see Aji and they don't really know who Aji is. They see Aji for what she does and they appreciate that, but they don't know Aji herself. So right before we get into the educational aspect of what Forward4you does, I want to know why you picked on mental health, because education I can understand, community development I can understand. Yes, exactly. Mental health is like a taboo subject here. Yes. You know, and you've championed it with your crew, and you're doing amazingly well. Thank you. Obviously, there's not a single person in Gambia here that is familiar with mental health that doesn't know Forward4you. You know, and for me that is it. It deserves to be like recognized. So tell us, what really Forward4you has done, is doing, and what has it been like for the past, 5 years now? Yes, a little over 5 years. So what inspired me to start that mental health chapter of Forward4you? So I have a very close family member who suffers from hydrocephalus, which hydrocephalus is like, just to simplify it, yeah. It's like when excess fluid is produced in the brain and the brain is not able to basically
suck it out,
yes, so then certain parts of the brain start to expand, and that what that does is it causes brain damage that usually sometimes is not able to be reversed depending on when you catch it, right? So for me it was, you know, in Gambia it was very difficult because there was a lot of misdiagnosis, you know what I mean? So different doctors would say it's different things, so by the time it could be caught, then it was too late type of thing. So in that process I saw the different sorts of medication that was being provided and the different side effects that those medication would have. So I began to Google things, you know what I mean? I began to Google them. I just had this interest in it. And I always say to my mom, if I could choose something that I could be right now, it would be a neurologist if it didn't take so long to go to school. But apart from that, I also have close family members, most people in Gambia do, who have experienced drug-induced psychosis, right? So at least for the people that I know, they're kept at home, they're supported,
taken care of.
You know what I mean? Yeah. They receive that love and care. So my mind just went to, what about the people that don't? You know, we have people that are in the streets, you know? And I thought the first place that I should go to is Tanka Tanka Psychiatric Hospital, because at that point in time, I personally didn't even know where Tanka Tanka was. You know, as a young person, you would always hear these stories about Kampama or Swadifelu Bondamala Yobuta.
Wow,
exactly, right?
Yes.
So that's pretty much all I know about it. So in 2016, we went to visit Tanka Tanka, and I was in tears when I went to Tanka Tanka. Yes. And it was an experience that I honestly will never forget. And since then I was like, okay, this is something that I'm going to work on to the day that I die type of thing, because the people there really, really, really do need support. And I remember in the very beginning, it was very difficult. My mom was very, very supportive throughout the entire process, and my family. But people from the outside, they'd be like, yo, so duffy them. So yeah, you didn't duff it.
Really?
Yes. There were people that were saying things like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't blame them, because it's the culture, right?
Of course. So it's what's been put into that.
Yes. Yeah. So one of our goals is to end that stigma attached to having a mental illness, right? So we're thinking, what's the best way to do that apart from taking people to Tanka Tanka, seeing what's going on, spending time with these patients so you understand that they're just people just like you. Anybody can have mental health issues.
They're sick.
They're sick. So why is it okay to go to the regular hospital when people have a physical illness, but it's not okay to go see people that have mental health issues, right? So since then we've been going every single year. We introduced a family day program there.
Nice.
Because another issue is that when some people take their family members to Tanka Tanka, they live there, right? Yeah. So they leave them there for a very, very long time. They don't see them. And anybody who is suffering from mental health issues, you need support. You need familiar faces, right? So for the people that didn't have those familiar faces, we wanted to be those familiar faces, right? Beautiful. So the point was to build a family. So over time, the number of volunteers began to increase. Of course, when you post the pictures on social media, people are like, oh, like I wanna see what you guys are doing, you know? Yeah. At some point at the door, people are like scared, you know, because there is that fear there. Yes. But honestly, we've never had that sort of experience at all. So the family day began to turn into like doing activities such as playing soccer, painting, and I'll show some of their paintings later, playing Ludo cards, and just engaging in conversation, right? Yeah. Of course, every single person there has their own issues, right? But Tanka Tanka is not a place where you have like specified services based on what your needs are, because we're just not at that stage yet. Yes. One of my dreams is to build a center that is able to do that, and also have like
special needs.
Yes, and also have like a rehab facility for people that are there because of drugs, for example, because they need their own type of care. People with depression need their own type of care. Schizophrenia, it's all very different, right? Yeah, so over the time we did honestly become a family, I would say. So then we started doing like mental health awareness campaigns outside of Tanka Tanka Psychiatric Hospital. We would bring it to social media. For example, now we just introduce Conversations That Matter.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yes, so what we do is, it's different when you tell people, okay, these are the signs and symptoms of depression. They have the choice to read it or not to read it. But when you put a face
to it,
to it, then it has a different impact. So we've had 2 episodes. First was on depression. Then yesterday we had someone who shared her story dealing with bipolar disorder, anxiety, and ADHD. All three of them. And just hearing their stories and how they overcame that, I think is very inspirational to anybody that watches it, honestly, and plays a huge role in eradicating that stigma and putting the word out there. But in a very long story, that's how we started that chapter of Forward for You. Yes.
And it's a very interesting chapter. That you did mention that when you walked in there, you cannot explain. What was that like? The first time you came in contact, because mind you, we're in a society that it's taboo. They make it seem like talking about mental health is bad, or the people that are mentally disturbed are like dangerous. Anyone can be dangerous.
Exactly.
What was it like getting in contact with, the first time getting in contact with mentally challenged people that were in Tanka Tanka?
For me, I think I was very, very overwhelmed with emotions, right? Because I have a tendency to just see myself in other people. So I would say that could have been me. Yes. So in that state, I was like, if it was me, what would I need? Type of thing. So we honestly just approached them like they were ordinary people, because they are, right? And we engaged in conversation, and nothing about it was dangerous at all. Obviously, when you go in there, there's a lot of them all doing different things. Depending on the type of person you are, you might get a little distracted, or even some people might say that they were a little scared because they're going to try to come to you, try to hug you, have conversations. But once you settle down, you realize that nothing about this is dangerous at all. And in the case that they do have a patient that is experiencing like psychosis and becomes dangerous, they have a certain area of the hospital that they take them to, so they don't really expose the guests coming into any sort of danger at all. So they do a very good job in regards to that.
That's good. Now, how is that conversation like? Because I do, from what I understand with speaking to different people about this, people that have knowledge about mental health, is like the best way to do it with a mental health patient is to talk to them.
Yeah.
How has that conversation been like over the course of 5 years? Has it changed? How has it been? Have you seen improvement from the beginning, 2016, when you met them? How was that conversation like? Because you sometimes, when you're walking in the road, you do see people and they walk up to you, don't want me $5. And people like me, what do you do at $5 a day? I'm a very curious person, so I just want to.
Yeah.
So how did you do that? Well, maybe not specifically that, but how that type of conversation?
Yeah, so the conversations are very, very different based on the person that you're talking to, right? Because people have different personalities, different experiences in life. So it usually is focused on their life experiences and why they're there. If you pay attention to what they're really saying, they want to tell you who they are, where they come from, what brought me here, and most of them say, I'm not meant to be here, but I'm here. Wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the conversations are very different, but obviously as we went back and back and back and back and we became more familiar, then the conversations got deeper, in a sense, and they would give us labels like, oh, because every time we go, we take food. So we became those people, even if they don't remember you by name, they're like, okay, like type of situation. And I remember when we first started, we did some renovation project there. The first one we did was the eating area. Nice. At first, patients would sit on the floor to eat, regardless of age, right? So in 2016, when we went, that was the first project that we did. We decided to put in seats, tables, because, I feel like if someone's sitting on the floor, it should be by choice.
Yes.
I'm choosing to sit on the floor because I want to eat on the floor, but not because that's my only option type of situation. So we did that renovation project, but I also want to touch on the renovation project we're starting right now, which is the complete separation of the male and female wards.
Okay.
Because as a male patient and a female patient, there's different needs, right? There's the safety aspect of things. Yes. So right now, that's what we're working on, and we really hope we can get some support to get that running very quickly. We want to build the occupational therapy room for the women, where they can go in and have different things that they can do. Because when you're distracted and you have an outlet, it definitely takes off some of these things that you're feeling internally. So that's the project we have right now. But we've honestly, like I said, we've built a family there, and they're always very welcoming when we go.
And I love that.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to reach out to help, where can they reach you?
So our Instagram page is very active.
Okay.
We have Twitter, Facebook as well, so you can send a DM. But our email address is forward4yougambia@gmail.com. You can put it in the bottom. And I'll also share phone numbers that they can reach us on.
Okay.
Yes.
Hold that thought. We'll go with our first break when we're back. More with Gaye of Forward4you.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put in to constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back after that break. A massive thank you to Mr. Saul Fraser of Global Properties. Thank you for being a part of Sip and Chat, and Kalimba as well. I mean, I love this place. I love the serenity. I love how quiet it is, how beautiful it is. And of course, the cocktails are always, a bonus. So thank you very much, Kalimba, for coming on board and being a part of the Sip and Chat family. Right before we went on our first break, we were talking about, what you've been doing or what your team has been doing with the Tanka Tanka. I want to know, how many projects have you had so far since inception? And as well, what is one significant change that you would say this is something that is undeniable, has happened and is been growing with the patients there?
So for the different projects that we've done, I'm just going to separate them based on which aspect of Forward4you they're about. So I'm just going to stick to Tanka Tanka for now. We've had renovation projects. We've worked with different, for example, hotels in the Gambia that have provided us with like blankets and bedding for the patients. Private businesses that have given us, cupcakes or food just to take to the patients as well. We've done a hygiene products drive where we've had over 2,000 products that were donated, all by Gambians. So Gambians have been extremely supportive. Honestly, we wouldn't have gotten to this point without them, because the volunteers are 100% Gambian, and they take their time to go, with Forward4you to these places and spend time with them. And the awareness raising projects that we've done. We've had like a national dialogue on mental health in the Gambia, where we've had government, private sector, different organizations like IOM, and we had a discussion, and the topic was eradicating the stigma around mental health in the Gambia. That I think was very impactful, because we also had school students who came abroad, and then they ended up joining Forward4you and then going with us to go volunteer at Tanka Tanka. But all of these material things is one thing, but I'm going to share an experience that I had. Forward4you goes to the trade fair usually every year, right? And we would sell the paintings that I mentioned before that are done by the patients.
See them.
Yes. So usually they painted them. So this person painted "Help Me Please." Right?
Wow.
And it's usually, sometimes it's like a message to the world based on what they're feeling at the time. That one was gifted to Forward4you by them, and it said, we love you.
Painted
Yes.
So you see, duffing them. They only need care.
Very true. Very true. And this is my mom's favorite one.
Oh, let me see.
And it says, "No one was born talking." Because when she looked at it, she was thinking, she's like, what does that mean? But then when you think about it, it's because everyone's born equal. Nobody was born with any sort of special talent. We all started equally.
Or superpower.
Right.
True.
So your life took this route, mine took this one, but it could have been me that was in this position, right? So this one just speaks volumes, right? And some of them are more just regular art, right? And the patient signed BB because that's his initials.
Really?
Yeah. So we had Lineage frame them, and then we were selling them at the trade fair when we were taking part. So a specific year, there was a young man who came to our stall. He was like, "Hey, Ian, what Forward4you?" And we were like, "Yes." And then I remembered him because he was a patient at Tanka Tanka.
Really?
Right? Yes. And he was like, "I just remember everything that you guys have done for us, and I don't forget it, and I honestly want to support Forward4you, basically to do for people what was done for me." So I think that was the most impactful experience that I've had, because it's like when we started there, he was having all sorts of experiences, telling us his life story. He was deported from Germany, and when he came, he was exposed to certain drugs, and that impacted his mental state, right? So for him to get to that point where he's left Tanka Tanka and he's fine coming to the trade fair with his friends and remembered us and decided to come stop by and introduce us to his friends and be like, yeah, Tanka Tanka time mafaneke. And that in itself is killing that stigma. He was able to stand there. Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm so touching to know that in the beginning you were in this position. And it's such a meaningful story.
Yeah.
It's literally life.
Yep.
No, first of all, no condition is permanent.
Exactly.
We all need love, and with care and unity, anything can happen. And just to know that you guys helped someone in that way, and they came back to say that.
Yes.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah. So I think in that area, that's the most impactful for me personally. Because it reminds you of why you're doing what you're doing, right? You're seeing first-hand results as to that. In the other areas of the work that we do, in the education sector, we do still provide scholarships, and we have a very active adoption program.
Oh.
Yeah, where it's basically people, most of them in the diaspora, who want to give back. And what we do is we create profiles for different young people that need support, whether you're in. We have people in junior school all the way to UTG, for example. Yes. We actually have a young boy who's graduating this year, and I'm smiling because his story, he used to collect trash actually with a donkey cart, right? But we just realized that he has so much potential, and now he's about to graduate with a degree in economics, and it's honestly a tutor to his other peers.
Beautiful.
So it's always a difference in opportunity that then creates an impact in someone's life, right? And all of these are interrelated because, if he didn't get that experience to get that education, he could have became frustrated with his job, right? And then maybe taken another route that could have led to other mental health issues. So I think honestly everything in life is very very connected.
I like the fact that Forward for You it encompasses all of it, because once the community is set and in a good state, we don't have to worry about the mental state. Once they're educated, then we know their lives are going to change. And once there's change, they're impacting someone else's life.
Exactly.
And that happened from one organization saying, you know what, we're not giving up. And that's beautiful. I really want to commend you, because it's an inspiring story, just what you do, how well you do it, and how you've brought 3 different sectors together to say Forward for You.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
nice.
you. Yeah, for the last one, I would just want to, for community development, the most impactful thing that we've done so far would be during the COVID time. We actually had a COVID-19 relief project. Nice. So we started with online fundraisers, and once again, Gambians and non-Gambians going out of their way, donating, and we were able to raise up to $300,000.
Beautiful.
And what we did with that is we bought, because at that point in time, it was difficult to achieve this, right? So rice, onions.
Some people were laid off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Money. And we went to different parts of the Gambia to distribute those, right? Once again, tying it to mental health. We were getting phone calls, mothers. Crying on the phone. At that point in time, they're not at the best mental state, right? So during that, we then had an organization of Gambians that are based in Saudi Arabia. They work for the International Islamic Development Bank, sorry. They saw what we were doing and decided to donate a significant amount to then expand the work more. So we were then able to go across all the regions of Gambia and do these different distributions. So that was very, very impactful, because some of those families are still in contact with us as well, just because of what we did then.
Especially in a time like that.
Yes. So once again, thank you to Forward4you volunteers that honestly, you can say risked their lives because COVID was everywhere, but they still put others before themselves and decided to go out there. Yes, and everyone that donated, thank you very much.
That's nice. Now I want to know, who's Aji? Because Aji's done all this amazing work with her team, but I want to know Aji herself.
Yeah.
I know that Aji is, I feel like you come up very quiet, but I know you can be very chatty.
I can.
And I know you're married, right?
Yes.
You got married a year ago or so?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I did.
How's that?
Alhamdulillah, it's going very well.
It's going very well. If you know me, you know I like love.
Yeah.
I like a good love story. So I always want to know how you met your husband or how you met your partner, what married life is like for you in 2022. you know, post-COVID or post-pandemic, if I can say that.
Yeah.
You know, and also what is one thing that you're grateful for? Because I know we're grateful for different things, but we always say, at least as kids before we grow up, I want a man. If I can get a man that's patient, I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
for me,
Yeah.
that's a big thing. I want a patient person, or I want a well-grounded person, or I want a calm person, you know?
Yeah.
These are specific things.
Yes.
For you, what was it?
It's not like I'm taking that word from you, but yeah, definitely patience and a person that's very giving.
Yes.
Because for me, my focus in life is to give back to others. You know, they say you make a living by what you earn, right? But you make a life by what you give.
Yes.
And that has been my focus. So having a husband that's very supportive of that and basically lives the same lifestyle has been amazing.
Has
for me.
been amazing.
Alhamdulillah, yes.
And that's also a thing. I keep saying to men, because you know, I will keep talking. Find someone that compliments you, that is interested in what you're interested in. So you would not be in a difficult situation like, oh, why is it that you don't like going out with me?
Yeah.
Or why is it that you don't like staying home with me? Or why is it that you don't like being in the midst of people? Because some people are, and it's not that they're bad people, it's just they don't know how to be in public. You know, so find someone that can get that, or even if they bring you out of your shell, you wouldn't feel forced.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think also that has to do with working on yourself, for example. Because if you're married to somebody, you know who you got married to. And for example, you don't expect to marry them and have their personalities change 100%,
overnight,
right?
true.
So as a person, you should be able to accommodate others and then work towards that goal that you feel, for example, that change that you feel needs to happen. So I think it all starts from within. Yes.
Okay, you guys, are you listening? Are you listening? I know you are not always a hijab. What made you become a hijab?
So I have two sisters that have worn the hijab for a while. So I was that one sister that was like, hey, your sister didn't call you, but I feel like
that sounds like me right now. Okay.
I think when the time happened, it just happened. I honestly woke up and realized that honestly this is what I want to do, because obviously there's a reason why you wear the hijab, right? I finally got to that understanding that we're not just in this life for ourselves type of thing, right? So I wanted to do my absolute best, and that for me personally included wearing the hijab. And since I wore it, I've never thought about taking it off. And the funny thing is, I actually woke up one day and decided to wear it, and since then, I've kept it on. Yes, alhamdulillah.
I love that. I have two sisters that wear the hijab.
Yeah.
But here I am. So you see, that when you said that, I was like, okay. But it's a. I like how you carry yourself.
Thank you.
How you give. How you care for others. It speaks volumes of who you are.
Thank you.
Now, when we speak about mental health for other people and what Forward4you has done, I want to know, in your own experience, have you ever come face to face with any type of mental health issues? Because I have.
Yeah.
But have you? And how, if you have, how have you dealt with it? And to now, when you get to a certain stage where you feel overwhelmed or you have anxiety, how do you really calm yourself, bring yourself back to Zen?
So at first I can say I experienced some sort of mental health issues, but I didn't know that I was experiencing them, right? And I remember when I was in high school, I knew I wanted to go to the United States.
Yes.
And there was an exam that I had to take. It was the SATs,
Yes.
right? So every single time that I tried to take the SATs, I would get to a certain section and I wouldn't be able to go any further. I would start to shake, feel like I'm going to vomit, feel really hot, and everyone else didn't feel anything. And I'm just like, okay, the first time I thought, okay, maybe I'm unwell, right?
Yeah.
I tried it again, almost the same section, same thing. I tried it for the third time. And then I was like, okay, what is this? What's going on?
Yeah.
It wasn't like the questions were hard. It wasn't like I couldn't answer it, but I just couldn't go.
You were just panicking.
Now I know I was
you know,
panicking, right? Because throughout school, I've always been the student that wants to get that highest score type of thing, right?
I know,
So
you
maybe
remind me of a classmate. But go on.
so I was maybe internalizing this need to get
To be ahead, at
right.
the top. Yeah.
But I didn't notice that I was doing that to myself, right? Up until later, when I started Forward4you, started talking to people that have experienced anxiety based on a certain situation, then reading the certain symptoms of being anxious, I was like, then I was basically having a panic attack, or I was extremely anxious, and it started. I also want to touch on that, the physical symptoms that come with some of these mental health issues. You know, like when someone's depressed and they're always laying down because they feel so fatigued. Some people get sensitive to light. It depends on who you are. So
and
there's that.
Could still be going on and
of
on.
Course, and you would never
that was
know.
Me.
Yeah.
On and on. Seemed like the happiest person, but it was just chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inside, so,
definitely.
yeah.
So those emotions come off in physical ways. And just to touch on that, like some people are experiencing depression because of, you know, an imbalance in hormones, for example. Women that take birth control, you know? So it's not a thing where, I just want to take away from the fact that this is so, being mentally is so bizarre. It's not.
so horrible
it's
because
not.
anything can trigger it. Anything. And it doesn't mean you're going crazy.
Yep.
It doesn't mean something is wrong with you.
Exactly.
It actually means you just need help at this particular point. You need help. You need more help than the regular person.
Yes.
You know, because you might be going through some things or something might be triggering your behavior. Or like you said, just like taking, what's it called?
Birth control?
Birth control pills.
Other medication have side effects.
Other medication have side effects like that can actually put you in a state and you wonder, why am I feeling this way? It could be the medicine you're taking. It could be the birth. Anything can really trigger that. The most important thing is to treat people with care and love.
Of course, and be accepting and non-judgmental, which takes me to another point. Because like I was saying, when I've gone to Tanka Tanka, there has been a lot of young people that have been there because of drug-induced psychosis, right? So young people experimenting with different drugs.
Yes.
And the issue here is like we all have different genes, right? I might have an uncle who is schizophrenic.
Yeah.
I may know, I may not know.
Yeah.
So my friend is taking this specific drug and he's fine. But if I take that drug, I don't know what that is setting off over here, right? And then what happens to me? I honestly, you know, things start to go...
Spiral.
Yeah. And then you could, for example, end up at Tanka Tanka, right?
Sure.
So I think we also need to be very, very careful about these things, especially now when we have a lot of different things coming into Gambia.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes, we need to be very, very careful about that and talk to our friends, educate them.
Beautiful. When you get into a state where you feel like I'm losing it or I'm you know, how do you take care of yourself?
For me, honestly, it's all been prayer.
Okay.
Honestly, that has been very, very, because there's prayers that are out there if you're feeling anxious, if there's sorrow that's going on. And I feel like for me that has been very helpful because when I do these certain, you saw me doing them before I came on the show. If I do them, I feel like, okay, it's protecting me from this specific thing, right? But apart from that, I like going to the spa, for example, right? I like going for massages and I like eating out. My mom's like, hey, but it's because that's what works for me. Me and my friends, we go out, we eat, spending time with people, having a good time it's very important for anybody, you know? It takes off a lot of stress, especially when you have like-minded people that understand where you're coming from, people that you can confide in, a supportive partner, supportive friends, supportive family. All of that plays a very significant role. Yeah, so that's what I do. I try to find my calm in the food.
I like that. I like that. Everyone has a thing that works for them.
Yeah.
I like the food aspect because I'm a foodie as well. Yeah. But we're gonna get into the Never Have I Ever segment, but right after this break.
Also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back after that break. I'm still here with Aji and Forward for You, but right after Aji, there's a special guest that I have here that we'll get into a very interesting conversation. So please stay tuned. We're gonna get into one of my favorite segments, which is the Never Have I Ever segment. Aji, are you ready? Yeah. I have a couple of questions for you. Okay. And I know you're a very shy person. You're quite an introvert.
I am.
You know, sometimes. But my first Never Have I Ever question is: never have I ever lied to a partner? If you have, you sip a drink. If you haven't, you say you haven't.
Lied.
It could be a white lie. It could be a lie.
Lie. I'm thinking like what? So it could be any sort of lie, like
it could be any sort of lie. Like I thought you were gonna just go get food. Yes, I was, and then there was traffic, but there wasn't traffic. You probably stayed there and what chit chat.
Okay, if that's the case, then I'm pretty sure I'll just sip the drink because I'm sure hang out. Leave Cassie's go to Kabaga instead of going.
Okay. Second, never have I ever lied on a resume.
No.
To get a job.
No.
No?
No.
Never.
Please don't do that.
You know what? Fake it till you make it. I didn't say that though, but it said it. Never have I ever dated two people at the same time.
No, I've only dated my husband.
You've only dated your husband?
Yes,
you sound like Beyonce. No, I'm lying. Beyonce dated somebody else. But you've only dated your husband?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
At what age did you date him?
Real dating, I would say before, like a year before we got married.
A year before you
that
got
would be,
married.
yeah, that's what I would call
That was
real
your
dating.
only relationship?
Yes.
You never dated anyone outside of that? How was that? This is interesting.
I think honestly it was fine because I've never been the type to want to talk to different people or experiment like try to.
Yeah.
No, I have friends. I have close male friends that honestly I have bonds with, but it's obviously a different type of bond. I just didn't feel the need to. To each their own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, and like I've said, I've known my husband for a long time.
So that's why when he was like, "Yeah, Ajay, let's make this official," he was like,
yeah.
What's your marital name?
Ajifatu Gaye Kamara. I don't. Yeah.
Kamara. But do you even use it?
No, not really.
Not really.
No.
It's just on paper.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Wow. Okay. That's so rare nowadays to hear that you only dated your husband and got married.
Yeah.
You're so lucky. A lot of people, other people have to kiss different frogs. Never have I ever skinny dipped.
No.
You haven't?
No.
Adi, what have you done?
I feel like I'm going to be the most boring guest on this show, but
No, not really. You're quite interesting. It's nice to get different guests with different life experiences.
Yeah.
Obviously. You've never skinny dipped?
no.
No. Never have I ever been in a physical fight. Now I'm like feel like having like Adi,
Once actually, I have, and it was back in school, and I wouldn't call it fighting. It was more like self-defense.
It was fighting. Okay.
It was self-defense, you know.
Okay, what happened? Give me an idea of what happened.
I remember it was during high school. High school. I was in like Form 3 or Form 2, and there was someone. I guess she felt like she wanted attention from me while I was busy doing something else, and that prompted her to decide that she wanted to slap me. So in that case, that is self-defense because you're not just gonna. Yeah, it was just a reflex action. And I don't condone violence. But
you do hit back if you do, you defend yourself when you feel attacked, but you don't condone violence.
No, I don't.
I like that. That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did. So sip your drink. At least I've got two, Aji.
Yes.
But thank you so very much for coming on Sip
My
and
pleasure.
Chat. I really appreciate it, and this has been such an enlightening conversation. And if people want to reach Aji, her information will be right here. So reach her. Let us continue to spread awareness surrounding mental health. It is not a taboo. It's people that need help. We all need help. We all need love. So let us continue to love and support each other.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's honestly an
Thank you very much. Thank you. Look forward for you for coming.
Yes, and we have a gift for you.
I like gifts, You're the third guest that's giving me a gift. Thank you.
Yes, it's one of our crew next. The Forward for you.
And you know what? It's like what she has on.
Yes.
But in just a different
color.
And I love it. And hanga Gambia, I'm going to say the time.
Yes.
So this comes in very handy. You see soon winter be right now. So thank you very much.
You're
I
very
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And I would love to volunteer.
Yes, please do.
Once everything is back again, please just hit me up, and I hope I'm available to do it, and I would really love to be a part of it.
Whenever you're ready.
Because I'm very passionate about it, and I do this is such a fascinating story, and just helping and giving back. It's I want to do it.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We'll be very happy to have you.
Thank you very much.
We'll
go to a short break. When we're back, we will have my second guest. Stay tuned. Thank you and welcome back after that break. A massive thank you to Global Properties for being a part of Sip and Chat and Kalimba for giving us the space and delicious cocktails. With me, I have Auntie Yemisi. Well, Auntie Yemisi to me. If you've been on my social media, you see me post something about high achievers, which means they have been helping students from Gambia get into good boarding schools, with some with even scholarships. And she's here to actually officially launch it here and have as many Gambian students get into proper boarding schools in the UK. But I'll just let her get into details of what that is. Auntie MC, welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Fanta, for inviting me to your absolutely amazing show.
Thank you.
Your talk show.
Thank you.
I see you've been the Oprah Winfrey of Gambia.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
100%. So well done for what you do.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
So yes, my name is Yemisi Akindele. I'm Nigerian, born in England. I'm the Nigerian. She was the one born in Nigeria.
True. She's the Nigerian. I was just born there.
Which is absolutely amazing. So I started coming into Gambia about 5 years ago. And the reason why I did that is to offer children opportunities to come to the UK to study at A levels or younger, and then obviously move on to universities.
Okay.
Now, one of the challenges that we have as Africans is obviously finance.
Yes.
And one of the things that I have been advocating for in the UK is to support children from Africa with support and financial support in forms of scholarships.
Yeah.
And they've listened and they are helping.
Nice.
So, I mean, for example, I've got 4 children of my own. One of them went to school on full scholarship, 100% scholarship. Yeah. So I try to make sure I extend that to other children as well. As I said, I've been coming here for the past 5 years. I've had kids go from Gambia to the UK on scholarships.
Wonderful.
They do not necessarily offer 100% all the time, but you know, they do support.
Okay.
So this weekend, on the 5th and the 6th of March, we will be holding an event at the Tamala Hotel in Kotu. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next to Kalimba.
Yeah, next to Kalimba, exactly. And we have about 4 to 5 schools visiting from the UK. One of them actually arrived last night. Okay. The rest of them are arriving today.
Wonderful.
So they will be there speaking to parents, and I'll have to make the age group clear. So we have children for 6th form, for senior school, possibly from year 10 upwards. However, they do take children from age 11, which is grade 7 upwards. For those, I've had so many phone calls, I really have. So I want to say thank you to Gambia, first of all, for welcoming me and for supporting me in this project. I've had so many people call me asking about universities. So for that reason, we will be coming back to offer opportunities for universities on scholarships.
Wonderful.
So that will definitely be happening before the end of this year, and I will obviously let you know, so you can share that with you know, the youth, the young people in Gambia. Yeah, so I want to say thank you to Mr. Said, who owns a printing company here in the Gambia. Okay. He actually got all this ready for me, all this literature, T-shirts, corps, all the gifts that we'll be giving out.
Nice.
They were all done before I got into Gambia. So I want to say thank you. So this leaflet is all over Gambia apparently. And basically it just talks about the event that will be taking place at the hotel next door, Tamala. So I want to say thank you to those people. I want to say thank you to the parents. So the children that you see on this leaflet are actually children that are from Gambia who presently are in the UK studying. They all went on scholarship.
Wonderful.
So that's really encouraging. So I want to say thank you to those parents who've allowed me to actually feature their children on this leaflet. I want to say thank you to the schools in the UK also who've obviously trusted me to bring them into Africa and to share, you know, what they want to do with us here. So I want to say thank you so much to you for making this possible.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you at the event.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, for sure.
So yes, hopefully we'll see you there. So I want to say thank you. But one of the things that I want to say before we go off is the Mandela statement on this leaflet that says, Actually, I'll get you to read that statement.
I actually love it. It says, no country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. And this is so true, because just right when Adi was here and we were having a conversation,
Yeah.
she was telling us what she studied and,
Yeah.
and what she's doing now.
Yeah.
And you were telling me that how Adi works for the UN as well.
That's right.
Once we educate our people,
Yeah.
there is no country that can say we're better than this.
Absolutely.
Or we're better than this country. And we will have our own doctors,
Absolutely.
our own Oprah Winfrey,
Absolutely.
our own lawyers,
Absolutely.
our own president,
100%.
without outside influence. And that is what we want.
That's
we
it.
want an Africa that we can be proud of.
Absolutely.
And that starts with the children.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for bringing this, Auntie Embassy.
Yes,
I
thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
this. And I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow.
And before we go, I've got a little gift for you.
Oh, for me?
Yes.
Oh.
And it's a beautiful one that goes with your beautiful self.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, I like gifts. Thank you so very much.
You're
I
very
appreciate it. It
welcome.
means a lot to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This was all we had for you. High Achievers will be at Tamala on the 5th and 6th, which is this Saturday and tomorrow Sunday. So please, please, please bring your children. If you want proper and quality education, bring your children. This is the right woman to hand your children to.
Thank you.
She has brought schools from the UK, proper schools. And you know, any more information that you really want to know, come to Tamala today, Saturday, and tomorrow, Sunday, to hear more. Thank you very much. This was your favorite girl on Sip and Chat. To peace, love, and cha-ching, cha-ching. Bye-bye.
Awesome.